So I'd like to get people standing up, and I'll do that in not too long. In my hand, I have a gift, and I'll explain how you're going to win it. But thank you so much, Miriki, for the very generous introduction. So it's really nice to be here today. This is my first time at DevCraft, my first time at iHub, actually, the new iHub that is. And it is our second conference that we are partnering as KamiLimu, so this is really big for us. The first one was last month. And I just want to give a shout out to all the KamiLimu students in the room, including some of the volunteers. And we're going to talk about the work that we do today. But to get us started, this is a tradition in all our mentorship programs. We always start with an icebreaker. So this is a very simple one. I'll ask you to stand up in a second. And if I say something that you are, then you sit down. So for example, if I say sit down if you're wearing black shoes, you sit down. Sit down if you were arrested yesterday, you sit down. So this is an honesty game, right? So you have to be honest for you to play it well. And the last person standing will win. This is a cup that is branded KamiLimu. It's a mug rather, not a cup. So that is the aim of the game. So may I kindly have you stand up, please? So sit down if this is not your first time at DevCraft. Sit down if this is not your first time at DevCraft. No. First time at DevCraft conference. Sit down if you do not know the car that is represented by this logo on the screen. If you do not know, you sit down. So what is it? Okay. Sit down if you do not know what car brand that is. So those of you standing, what is it? Okay. Sit down if you do not know who this person on the screen is. You're not supposed to say. You're not supposed to give the answers yet. So who is it? And who is that person?
Co-founder.
Okay. Sit down if you do not know where these mountains are located. No. No. So those of you standing up, where are they? Ooh. Yeah, if you say Rwanda, you're going to sit down, I think. Right? Where are they? DRC? Yes, it's DRC. Unless we are talking about the border of... It's DRC. Not Rwanda. All right, sit down if you do not know the programming language in which this was written. If you do not know, what is that? So those of you standing up, so don't give them the answers, right? So what is it? Please sit down. What is it? C++? Yeah, that's C++. Okay, so we have how many people are left standing? 3. Great. All right, so sit down if you can't tell. There's only one error in this code. Which one is it? If you can't tell it, then you sit down. All right, so since you're still standing up, I'm assuming you have figured out the code, so I'll start with the gentleman. Yes, please. What about it? Sure, it should just be main, not main class. Okay, and this is Java. So we have 3 people, which gives me a problem because at this point I needed only 2 people left. So I'll do a few more, then we'll have 1 more on the screen, so I'm left with 2. So sit down if you have more than 5 siblings. All right, so down to 2. All right, so sit down if you cannot tell what the output of this code is. All right, so let's find out. The gentleman at the back, what's the output? What's the output? Then we'll. So I won't tell you whether it's right or wrong until we get both answers. Okay, and? So just 6 for you?
8 and 6.
All right, and yourself?
Yeah, I think missing a G. Yeah.
Oh no, I just want the output in this case. What is the output of this code? So your answer was 8 and 6, and yourself?
I believe the code is erroneous.
It's not. It's not. It has no errors. So just take a few seconds if you need to.
Okay, the first result is 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then a 6.
All right. That's your final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone in the room, what is the output?
8 and 7.
8 and 7. So, but because I have 1 cup, I have to give it out. So, because you know the minus decreases by 1, and then you put the I. So 8 and 7. All right, but I want to give out this. So sit down if you're the firstborn. Wow, I didn't see that coming. So please stand up. You too. All right, sit down if you're an only child. Okay, sit down if you're an exact replica of your parent, either or, like you're a carbon copy. Okay. So 2 questions from the room because we have to be left with 1 person standing. Anyone wants to ask them something? Muriki, please shoot a question. Sit down if. Oh yeah, sit down if you're a student. I'm sorry. Sorry, what's your name, sir? Okay, nice to meet you, Cliff. This is a mag from KamiLimu. So, here you go. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to talk about the work that we do at KamiLimu. And before I start, I want to ask all the students or previous students or potential, actually no, current and previous students, how many of you received any form of mentorship while at any post-secondary institution outside the classroom? Please raise your hand. Okay, so we have, except KamiLimu people. So how many of you received, well, any post-secondary? So I'm seeing 2 hands up, 3. Okay, so that's 3 hands up. How many of you felt that they needed extra guidance while at any post-secondary institution outside the classroom? Okay, so we have more hands than the 3 that went up. And this is actually the situation in most of our tertiary institutions where we have students who need extra guidance, but fewer actually get it. And you find that for those who get it, it's organized either by the institution or externally. And this is the case for the 3 students I'm about to introduce to you. So I'd like you to meet Alan. So Alan is a student at JKU at university. And he took a long break before he went back to school. And when he went back to school, he needed an environment where he could nurture his passion into computer science, but most importantly, he wanted a place where he could learn about the different careers that there are in computer science so that he knows the right track to choose. Meet Barbara. Barbara is a student at Kenya Methodist University, and she often found that she's one of few, or perhaps the only one, the only girl in her class. And at first, this was a bit confusing for her because she felt that she didn't belong. And she was looking for a space where she felt that she could have other people to work with, as well as the conviction that she actually chose the right career path. Meet Cornelius. Cornelius is a student who wants to be a network engineer. And while pursuing his diploma, he actually almost quit his studies because he didn't find people who are already practicing network engineers to tell him how to best prepare himself for that particular role. This represents just a few of the issues that we have students facing at university and colleges, where they need more than just what we give in the classroom. They need guidance, they need motivation, they need the inspiration that they can stay the track and pursue great computer science careers in the future. So, a survey that we conducted showed that at least 60% of university students do not receive any mentorship outside the classroom. And yet, a study by the Inter-University Council of East Africa showed that at least 50% of university graduates are not prepared for the job market. Now, while there are many factors that contribute towards quality education, from good curriculum, from great policies from both the government and institution, to highly qualified staff, we believe that providing mentorship outside the classroom could actually bridge the gap between what students learn and what is needed, not only in the industry, but also in the community, as well as personal development. And that is because we need all our computer science students, or IT, or any tech field, to actually be prepared, not only for our local industry, but globally as well. So that is why we believe in wholesome education. For the non-Swahili speakers in the room, Elimu means education, and Kamili is whole. So we believe in Elimu Kamili, hence introducing KamiLimu. So at KamiLimu, we believe that structured and consistent mentorship outside the classroom that complements what the students are already learning could potentially be the bridge between what they learn and what they need in the community, in the industry, and as well as personal skills. And this is a free 6-month program that is multi-pillared. I'll talk about the pillars shortly. And that is the motto with which we approach our work at KamiLimu, the mentorship program. So far, since September 2016, we've worked with 96 students from 12 universities in Kenya. And we have a growing interest in the students who want to get the mentorship outside the classroom in the universities that they work with. Potentially, the number of students that we're expecting to apply for the next cohort are at 23 universities as we speak. So this in itself shows that there's a greater need and there's a gap that students are looking to fill even as they await to graduate from their studies. We've also worked with over 40 individual contributors, including our very own Kirui, who has conducted our sessions on design thinking. And in addition to these mentors who give back their skills and their time, we also work with peer mentors who are students who've gone through the program, then they come back and give back to the other students by supporting them not only academically, but also in their journey towards discovering the skills that they need to work on. And in addition to the industry, in the individual contributors, we also worked with companies. One of our newest partnerships is Google, and we came up with a model where the students visit the Google office every month, and then we work on things like CV review and how to prepare for interviews and so forth. And we pride ourselves in having a program that represents 50-50% of male and female students, because we believe in not only wholesome environments, but also enriching all the students that are at university. So our pillars that I mentioned earlier are 5 of them. And how we arrived at these pillars is that we talk to students to find out what are they looking for when they're seeking a mentorship program, and what are the skills that are seemingly lacking in the industry and in the community. And in conducting this survey, we came up with these 5 pillars: professional development, personal development, community engagement, innovation, and scholarship application and awareness. Our model is based on 6 months. The first half of the program consists of learning, so the training on the different skills. So we do this after hours because actually all of our mentees are active students. So after hours and Saturdays, we focus on learning on the 5 pillars. And then in the last in the last 2 months of the competition, we implement what the students have learned, and we do this through competitions. So they compete against each other as well as in teams, as I will give examples shortly. So in personal development, we focus on everything from speaking in public to developing yourself in terms of mental health. We look at sexual education, we look at negotiating skills, we look at financial literacy. And the implementation part of this is competitions where the students compete each other in public speaking competitions. And that happens over 3 different rounds with knockout stages. And that way, the students are able to not only learn from each other, but also implement the skills that they've been learning throughout the 4 months. In professional development, we focus on everything from how to write a winning CV, to how to present yourself at an interview, to how do you write well professionally, because one of the complaints that we receive is that we have many students who don't exactly have developed their writing skills. So that is a very important skill that we focus on. And the implementation for this is that we do mock job applications. So we actually design a job advert. So software engineer to business developer, and the students apply, and their CVs and applications are screened as if they will be screened for a real job. And then they go through a panel of interviews, and the panelists are actually in our industry contributors. And as they go through all that, we get feedback and they learn from that. And we believe that in this way, the students actually learn how they will be expected to act, as well as to be able to apply themselves in such rigorous processes that are highly competitive. We also focus on innovation and ICT skills, and this is because we believe that in as much as students learn ICT skills in the classroom, but they need to be able to learn how to apply those to actually solve socioeconomic problems that affect our community. So we teach the students everything from how to come up with a great problem, how to solve that problem using design thinking, using UX, UI, such as the session that Kirui does for us. And we go all the way to how to pitch your product for potential seed funding. So assume you have only 4 minutes to talk about your product. How will you pitch it and be able to sell the idea? And these are skills that are not taught in the classroom, but are needed by students who are especially in the tech field, who need to talk about their products and who need to sell their ideas, either to potential investors or for potential sale. We also have community involvement, and we do this in 2 ways. One is our students get involved in the local tech community, such as our students who are volunteers in this conference. And we believe that this way, the students are exposed to not only what is happening in the tech field, but also by being part of these conferences, then they're able to learn more than what they would probably learn just from the classroom. The second part of community involvement is we give back to the community through training on skills, on digital skills. So for example, we participated in our very first Africa Code Week last year. And the second picture is one of our partnerships with Akili Dada, where our students go and give back by training the students on the digital skills that they need, from basic programming to other advanced skills. And we also focus on scholarship application, where we train our students on how to write award-winning scholarship essays and how to prepare for scholarship interviews, because these are really competitive and we want them to be able to put their best foot forward. So after doing all this, we measure impact, because we believe that we want to know if we are actually making any difference in the students' learning journey, and especially preparing them for the world. So we measure impact in various ways. We look at what is our retention rate, what is the attendance rate per month, how are students actually committing to come to the program, because they need to be there for them to learn. Are we addressing the expectations? How are the sessions, how are we doing with the sessions that each industry speaker comes or the peer mentors run? And what are the impacts in terms of the 5 pillars that I mentioned? So we continuously measure this throughout the program, in the middle, as well as the end. And actually, as we speak, we completed our 3rd cohort of students just 2 days ago, where we had 35 mentees from 9 universities and 12 peer mentors who have just completed the 6-month journey all the way from March. And we are starting our next cohort in January next year. So we measure our impact in various ways so that we really continuously learn from our growth, as well as the feedback that we get from the students, because the whole point of this program is to obviously be able to adequately and effectively complement what the students learn in the classroom. So I'll share some of the results. So our first result is that our retention rate is at least 85%. We normally start with about 40 students, and we usually graduate at least 35 thereabout. So that is our retention rate over 6 months, the number of students who start and those who complete. Our average monthly attendance is 95%, where we track every attendance for every session. And what we did is we designed a point-based system, where if you attend a session, you earn a certain number of points. If you send an apology, you earn a point, because sending an apology is actually a professional skill that we need to have, as opposed to just not showing up. And if you attend a tech event, you earn a point. If you participate in any of the tasks that we give, you also earn a point. So the 95% attendance rate is actually tracked on a point-based system that then automatically calculates how our students are doing. So our monthly attendance rate is 95%, at least 95%. We've had a month where it was 99. It's normally lower when students are doing exams, but we've never gone below 95%. We also track how the students are perceiving their skills, both in the beginning and at the end. So for example, these were results from our last cohort, where we asked the students when they were joining the program, where their skills are in different things. So from CV preparedness to public speaking to ability to pitch an idea. And then we measured the same metrics at the end of the program, and we found that at least 80% of our students perceive to have improved their skills by the time they're through with the program. So for example, research and innovation had only 13% of the applicants indicating that they're highly skilled in that. But through the training that we give in how to identify a good problem, how to design a problem for it, how to pitch for it, by the time we finished the program, we had 81% who then perceived to have improved in that skill. This year, we had 22 recipients who received the Google Africa Challenge Scholarship, the Udacity Scholarship that was given out this year. And the students were studying everything from data science to Android to web development. And for the first time ever, we have our direct industry placements from the program to the industry. And this is especially because the panelists who participate in our mock interview process then are usually interested in seeing how the students perform both at the interview as well as during the technical interview, because that's one of the phases that we look at. So this is a new thing for us where we've had our very first industry placements, and we hope that this grows into more students actually getting those opportunities. So these are examples of some of the impact factors that we have realized over the last 6 months and over the last year. And now I'll introduce to you Alan again. So Alan is now part of a community that is very vibrant, and he's working with students from other universities to actually learn not only about different career skills, but also in how to be able to work innovatively with other teams. And he's also really developed on his confidence, so much so that he pitched for his team in the mentorship program on their project that looked at how to look for rental houses within Nairobi in a more effective and cheaper way. I'll introduce to you Cornelius again, who not only completed his diploma, but he now advanced his studies to pursue a degree. And Cornelius now has built his confidence so much so that he ran for the student vice chancellor, not vice chancellor, I'm sorry, the vice chairperson of the student union, and he won that. And he is, last year in our last cohort, he's the student who we awarded we have an award for the student who demonstrates the most improvement in terms of the different metrics, and he won that award. And it was very impressive to see this because he had come from a place where he was almost quitting his degree to seeing him at a place where he's not only excelling, but he's really putting himself out there in his community. Meet Barbara again, who is not only now a peer mentor to other students in her class, but as I speak, she's at the Grace Hopper Conference in the US after winning an international scholarship to attend the conference. And this was after the training she received in writing award-winning scholarship essays. So those are examples of the impact we are having. We've not even scratched the surface yet. We are still learning as we go along, but so far, we have learned that for an effective mentorship program that bridges the skills between academia and industry, it needs to be student-driven. It needs to focus on the community, industry collaboration. It needs to be consistent and measurable so that we learn if we are actually making any impact and any progress. And most importantly, we have to be able to measure what we are doing and always adapt and adapt and adapt. Thank you.
Do you want to take any questions?
Sure, why not?
Do you have any questions from the floor for Dr. Mbogo?
Yes?
Okay, that sounds like a really amazing program.
Thank you.
Just wondering what criteria do you use to bring students on board?
Okay.
I would maybe think that it would be a good opportunity for a lot of students that maybe you might not be able to take in right now.
Yeah.
So what are the plans maybe for the future?
All right. So the first thing is, when we started out, we hadn't put in any structures in place. In fact, this started as an experiment on my part. I was experimenting on if students need mentorship and if they will even show up. And right from the word go, we had about 40 students. So that is when we discovered that this is actually a need. So first cohort, September 2016, no structure, no website, no name. We were saying we are running a mentorship program. It was a very rough idea. So with that first cohort, we then developed the pillars. We developed all the impact factors. So we've learned over 3 cohorts now that ideally we can only work with 40 students at a time. Otherwise it becomes too big. And back to your question on scaling, so our plans are in future, we hope to reach students who are not in Nairobi, because at the moment we can only work with students in Nairobi, especially because our meetings are very physical. However, in our last cohort, we received interest from students as far as Masinde Muliro, Rongo University, Maseno, and because of the distance, they couldn't actually make it, and so that is actually a real challenge. And based on that, then we will be able to, when we scale and we're able to have our own space and we're able to have funding that will get us equipment, then video conferencing is a great option. Actually, some of the students ask to be able to stream the sessions, and then we can have part compulsory in-person attendance, but the rest of the sessions can actually be live streamed. So in future, that is our plan, because that's actually what students are asking for, especially those who can't come from, who don't come from universities in Nairobi. Did I answer you? Thank you.
Okay.
Any other question?
Yeah, Vincent here.
Yes. Vincent.
Since KamiLimu is a mentorship platform,
Yeah.
have you partnered with the local and private companies so that you can be pushing them to the industry?
Yes. Yes, so the answer is yes. And one example that I gave was our new partnership with Google. So Google partners with us in the skills development. However, one of our newest partners is Nano Digital, who took part in the interview process, and they're actually taking one student from us. So that is the first time we are doing that. So we hope that in time we are able to grow the number of companies who are interested in getting that value from us. Yeah. Yes.
So the back there. Don't worry, the mic is coming to you.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Christian.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah, my name is Christian and I'm Nigerian and I'm speaking at this conference. You mentioned Cornelius as one of the guys that went through your program.
Yes.
And then you said he almost gave up in his college. So actually, I gave up on school at the 5th year of computer engineering because of this particular issue here.
Yeah.
And then the sad part of it is my mom is a professor, so she was really disappointed. Like till today, she still doesn't think it made sense. Yeah. And then since that has been my motivation, it has been my drive to try to fix the system. And I told her why I'm not going back to school is not because I can't just graduate, but because I don't want to be one of those people that graduated just for the sake of graduating.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I've been doing, there's a conference called Concatenate in Nigeria and For Loop Africa. So I'm the organizer of both of these conferences. And those communities, I literally manage both of them. And what I've been trying to do is find a way to, there are layers to these things. There is education, there are communities, but then we're missing a bridge between both of those things. So people come from classes and they come for these conferences and they're completely lost about what is going on.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy I built this bridge, but my worry now is how somebody already asked scaling questions.
Yes.
We're not trying to put pressure on you, but this is something I would really love to take back home. Okay, and find a way to scale back to other countries in Africa. I travel to other countries to speak at events, to build partnerships and stuff like that. So I'm looking for a way we can actually take this away from just Kenya and scale it up. And then I'm wondering if you have plans for it yet, or is there any way someone can help to help you, just to broaden?
Okay, so the answers to both questions is yes. So clearly we need to have a conversation after, but yes to both questions. Okay. Yeah. I saw another hand at the back, yes. There's a gentleman.
Hello. Yep. Hi, my name is Brian and also currently a student at Kenyatta University.
Yeah.
So this platform, I'd say, is very important for us, or just for students in general, because I'm speaking from experience for the past 2-3 years. The main focus of the course is coursework. There's no experience, I'd say, around the industry, how to get in there, how to build soft skills, I'd say. So I commend you for starting this, and please keep it going.
Thank you.
My question is on how do you get into the universities? How do you go about collecting students? Is it through clubs, advertisements, etc.?
Yes, sorry, actually remembered, I don't think, excuse me, sorry, I didn't get your name. I realized I didn't answer your first question, so I'll answer it as I answer him. So so far we've purely been getting students through advertisement and word of mouth. We found that the students who've gone through the program bring in a lot of their friends. So for example, in our last application round, we had 35% of students who indicated that they had about the program from someone else. So we don't yet have active engagement with universities to get students. So far, it's been purely students go and bring others, and we've been overwhelmed with that. So we are going to probably continue with the advertisement as we do it on social media and through word of mouth. But I completely get your idea in terms of really getting involved with universities, so that's also part of the scaling question that he had asked. And that the
quick
gentleman
comment on that.
Sure.
At the universities, they usually have clubs based on different
Okay.
interests, ICT, etc. So
Okay.
that might be a good area
Okay.
to approach them, because
All right.
at least for us, I know there's one or two people I know who are very passionate about it, and they might be able to bring in people through clubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mbogo.
Thank
Let's
you.
have a round of applause for the doctor.